Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you guys here today. Today's the 5th, Friday the 5th of April, 2024. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get started and take a look at what's going on. You know, there's been a rare earthquake that struck in around the New York area. It's rare because don't generally get earthquakes in New York. Where was it? I got a map here. Excuse me, folks, but my mouse is not working very good. There's where it's centrally located, right there near Long Island, near New York. That's the epicenter. Of course, they would have felt it in that whole area within the circle. So did you guys feel it? I mean, if you live in the New York region, I know there's probably quite a few viewers, probably at least 100 viewers of mine live in the New York region. Did you feel it? 4.8 on the Richter scale. It's quite an intense earthquake. For this area, it's quite an intense earthquake. We generally don't get any large earthquakes in the New England area. Now, tuberculosis is on the rise, and they're finding it in the Chicago immigrant shelters. I want to tell you about the tuberculosis. You know, going back I don't know, into the 1940s, 1930s, you know, it was a serious thing. It was going around, tuberculosis, and if you caught it, it was basically it's like getting cancer, just as bad. It's back then, in those days, back before antibiotics and stuff. It was much more prevalent too. Well, some of these diseases are making a comeback. Tuberculosis could be one of these diseases that could make a comeback because now it's antibiotic resistant. And what you're going to find it in around areas and places where there's a lot of people in small areas, and healthcare is not that great. That's what it tends. It says Chicago's health department has confirmed a few cases of tuberculosis among illegal immigrants who recently arrived in the city. Now, the officials are saying that there's no cause for concern for the border population, as they believe the disease is contained. We'll see. Antibiotics do work on this, but it's very difficult because of these antibiotic-resistant strains, and when a person catches this disease and they go on the antibiotics, a lot of times they'll take maybe some of their antibiotics and they'll start to feel better and they'll stop. You got to complete with this. You got to complete the antibiotic cycles, the antibiotic prescriptions until it's completely done, finished. Now, how I know about this is I watched a show on it, all about it, a couple years ago. Yes, you can catch it like the common cold flu. If somebody's got tuberculosis right next to you and they're coughing all over you, it's not good. It's just, it just makes common sense now. Stay away from people that are coughing. Duck and run if you have to. Because there's so many respiratory things. Now, U.S. Secretary of State Blinken says that Ukraine will be a NATO member. And Russia has said over our dead body, Russia's going to they're going to be a NATO member. But the U.S. Secretary of State, darn this mouse, when I push it down it goes up, and when I push it up it goes down. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said Thursday that Ukraine will eventually join NATO, as support for the country remains rock solid among member states. So their support for Ukraine is rock solid, and he's saying that they are going to join NATO. They will be a NATO member. Now, this article here, Secretary General gives United States message on Ukraine as alliance marks its 75th anniversary. Well, there you go. What they're stating in here is the same thing. That they are going to remain rock solid behind Ukraine no matter what. It says U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken speaking before a meeting with Kabula said that support for Ukraine, the determination of every country represented here at NATO, remains rock solid. It says, we will do anything and everything well, it doesn't say anything. It says, we will do everything we can. Allies will do everything that they can to ensure that Ukraine has what it needs to continue to deal with Russia's ongoing aggression against Ukraine. So, the big thing about Ukraine right now, as far as I see it, is they're going to be running out of troops. Manpower. Russia can muster up as many as 20 million troops. If they have to. Ukraine, I don't think there's 20... Well, Ukraine did have 40 million at the start of the war, but an awful lot of people left. An awful lot of people have already been recruited. So, this rock-solid support from NATO, I got a big question about that. Are they hinting toward boots-on-the-ground support? Is that what they're hinting toward? I'm just wondering about this. I can ask that question. Russia-Ukraine war live. 20 members of the Russian airfield personnel were just killed or injured in drone attacks, Ukraine says. So evidently they're striking these airfields and stuff inside Russia. That ain't going to go over too good with the Russians. And there's been a lot of strikes on Ukraine as of late. This war is far from over. It could really heat up. Big time. Think about this, think about if Ukraine starts to actually lose the war. This NATO support, unwavering NATO support, how far and how willing is NATO going to be to go? It looks to me like reading these couple articles that I read, NATO's willing to go the extra yard. What does that mean? It means that, well, I have to ask it in a question. Would NATO be willing to have a direct confrontation with superpowers together? Having a direct confrontation, could that actually happen? And could Ukraine actually trigger something like that? I have to ask this question. Now, isn't that dog cute? He got on a pair of solar eclipse glasses on the dog, and he's looking up at the eclipse. He's some cute dog. It looks like he's a bit old though. He's got silvery whiskers around his mouth. But probably the first eclipse you've ever seen. Listen, guys. The solar eclipse is coming, and the thing is it's coming on the 8th, from what I gather, and it's going to go right through the heart of America, coming in around Texas and going right across, slicing America right in half. Go right across us like you're cutting a cake. I would, just me, I wouldn't look at that thing if you paid me. And even if a guy comes up and had a little pair of these paper glasses and he says, here, it's perfectly safe to look through these. I say, oh yeah, is it? I ain't looking at that thing. I ain't looking at it. I don't know what in the heck, I just don't like it. I don't want to look at it. I'll look outside and I'll see that it's getting dark outside. I might not even go outside. So just look out the window a little bit, but not look up. I don't want nothing to do with it. Let it go. Let it go off someplace. Gosh only knows. I just don't want nothing to do with it. Well, that's just me. You guys can get out there and look through your little paper goggles all you want, but don't get your eyes burnt, because I heard that there's counterfeit ones of these paper eye goggles out there. And are they safe? I don't know. I just ain't gonna look at it. I recommend all of you guys not to bother looking at the darn thing. Probably you will, but make sure you've got the proper eye protection and that you know it's the proper eye protection, because that thing can burn the eyes right out of you. Silver price today. Now, silver's on the uptick today at 27.24. It's up 38 cents. And we see that same thing with when the bond yields were falling, which is supposed to be good for gold and silver. Gold and silver were dropping. And when the bond yields are rising now, we see gold and silver going up. What's up with this? This is nuts. But I think if bond yields get too high, at a certain point, they become more attractive, makes them more attractive. So it could switch on gold, but unless there's something underlying in the system going on right now. And look, this morning I woke up, was I seeing things? The market was way down, wasn't it, this morning? Or was I seeing things? Was I sleepwalking? Or was the market way up this morning? And now the market's changing direction. It's gold right now is at $23.22. It's up $31, which is a pretty big jump for gold too. Gold and silver are hot commodities right now. Hot tickets. That's good. Cryptocurrency today, $67,900 for a Bitcoin. Ethereum is at 33.16. And you've got your XRP at 58 cents. Dow Jones Industrial Average right now is up 221 points. Now, was I sleepwalking? I could have swore it was down a lot this morning. And now it's up. Anyway. It's at 38,816 right now. Now, taking a look at crude oil is at 87.04. It's up 45 cents. Boy, it's getting up close to $90. Boy, we're going to have to pay a awful lot at the pump. You know, I don't know what the price is in the States right now, but I know here it's $1.70. I wouldn't be surprised before all this is over if it's $4 a liter. $16 a gallon. It wouldn't surprise me any if it goes to those kind of prices. It's almost like your car, turning your cars into cash registers. Every time you go down the road a mile, you're having to pay $5 for gas, just for gas. Not counting the price that they charge for these newer cars, which are junk. These new cars are junk. I can't begin to tell you, they keep putting in more and more things on these cars. Things like, now I see they're putting in this sensors and stuff that can tell if somebody's walking in front of your car. You know? Just more stuff to go wrong. I keep adding more and more stuff to go wrong, more and more computers and stuff. In the end, you won't even be able to start your car unless you got special eye scan or something. You have to put your eye up to the window or something. And then when the computer fritches and needs new software or whatever, maybe your car will arrest you and take you to jail. You won't even be able to get out. Your car, you get the car, all of a sudden you'll be driving down the road and the speaker will come on in your car and it'll say, I'm taking you to prison, and it locks the doors on you and you're locked inside and the wheel takes over and the gas pedal takes over and you can't turn it off. You go to turn it off and nothing happens. And the computer on board starts talking to you and saying, what kind of world we headed towards? You don't have real control over anything. You can't even fix your own car any longer. I mean, I just hate stuff like that. You can tell it's a pet peeve of mine. I just don't like them going so far with all this kind of stuff where nothing works unless the computer system on it, the software is up to date. Shouldn't have software on anything. Shouldn't have any software in your house. It wasn't so bad, when they first introduced these computers and you go out and buy a home PC and that was the only thing that was connected to online in your life, was that one thing, that computer. Your car wasn't connected online. Your house wasn't connected online. They couldn't spy on you all the time. Now this gives them capabilities that they never had before. Taking a look at the bond market today, see that it's just up that same amount right there is lining up with how much gold and silver are going up. So we're looking at bond yields today climbing 6 basis points, 6.4 basis points on the 10-year to 4.37. And it pretty much correlates with the rise in the price of gold. But gold's not supposed to do that. But if these bond yields get high enough, they're going to start to become more attractive. The higher the yields. So 10 years yielding 4.37 today, and the US 30 years yielding 4.53, and they're up 6 basis points on the US 30 year. So we still got these rising yields. Dollar index today is at 104.41. And we got strength in the dollar. See, dollar going up. Bond yields going up. Generally should be gold going down. Gold's going up sharply. And it seems like it's correlated. Something's not right about all this. But we'll just go with it because we like to see the gold and silver price go up. Maybe who knows, maybe when this starts to reverse, it might even go up faster. Because it's about time, isn't it? Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode. And have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.